want to talk about the infinity loop now and what this dance means and how you're dancing that inside and what that looks like with the other person, because this is how the balance is going to bring you into the magnetic harmonization or the oneness or the wholeness of yourself. So you stop attracting polarized energy, people, or experiences that are triggering this out of sync dance, not being in sync. Okay. And it's like, again, it's a dance. The whole thing's a dance. So, and I call it sometimes, I actually started a book talking about it, some stuff in about shadow dance. So if you are still in the dark night of the soul, or if you're still healing these wounds at that level, then your shadows are coming up, and it's taking things to come in and light that up so you can basically face your shadows, face your fears, address the things that you've ran from. Because if somebody's running from you and ghosting you, it's because you're ghosting yourself. And where are you ghosting yourself? On the flip side of that, going back to what I said, though, obviously there is work you got to do, but it's about shifting the perspective, the mindset, and the place, and how you can tweak it in such a way that you already are it, and that you already have what you need, and you're not missing anything, and nothing's separate from you. And that you trust now that because you know what you want, that will be provided for you. And I want you to know that's been my whole journey. Like what I'm telling you and all this has been my whole journey. And there's been many more things that's unfolded in my journey. And again, I think I said this earlier, but like I've never been more confident in my journey than, I never doubted it to begin with. But that being said, as I evolve and as I grow and as I change and as I come into my own power and my own oneness and my own wholeness and my own sense of self-love and respect and acceptance. And most importantly for me is like expression. And because I have got all of this pieces and these parts that have come together, and now it like wants to express itself. It wants to live out loud. It wants to be seen and be heard and be the goddess, that I am really. And you want somebody to see you for that. The infinity loop, that is the part you really kind of need to like balance and choose to maybe step out of. So if you look at the infinity and you look at, say, the left half of it, and I also want you to think about that infinity is inside. Okay, in your inner masculine, inner feminine energies. Now, some people get really hung up on the idea of gender roles, and I want you to know that has nothing to do with gender. It's energy like a battery, and batteries have a positive and negative polarity, and in those positive and negative polarities, opposites attract, and if it's the same, it repels, right? So that's when you're in this ghosting stage, or you're in the separation, or you're in the push-pull, or the runner chaser dynamic that everybody talks about, that is repelling energy, and it's all energy, and it's all magnetic, and it's either coming together or going away. All right. So inside of you is, again, where that takes place, because you're attracting it. So on that infinity loop, you have your feminine side, because left side equals more of a feminine approach, and the right side is more of a masculine approach. So think about that loop. And it is a dance, because you're not going to be all feminine. You're not going to be all masculine, right? Inside. All right. And in your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. So let me clarify what those are before I share the dance. Okay. So the feminine side obviously is the nurture, the expression of who you are, the creation of what you love to do or want to do. It is a side of you that is receiving. It is a side of you that can be empathetic and compassionate and all of those things. And then you have your masculine side that is more of like, let me take intentional action. Let me show up from a place of doing. And most importantly, like this is the side of you that needs to come into power, empowerment. And that is also the side of you that is desiring to really step into a role of feeling that you feel safe, secure, and that you feel stable. And if you're not feeling those things, it's because your inner masculine doesn't have those qualities inside that are sustainable for you to feel it within. Okay. So basically, if you got to look at when you're dancing and what's happening and the experiences to which side of you is the experience reflecting? Is it reflecting the feminine side? Is it reflecting the masculine side? And then based on that, you can kind of narrow down, is it my feminine or is it my masculine that is being wounded or needs attention in this case? So when you can discern, is this a feminine side of me or a masculine side of me, then you can go deeper into, well, what needs to be seen here? What needs to be felt here? What needs to be healed here? What needs attention? And then when it comes to getting the wholeness, or they're in sync, that's when basically the infinity, where the masculine and feminine arc, right at the arc where they cross the arc, which by the way is the flame. So the energy comes together in a minute. The masculine and feminine energies arc there at the cross. That's where the flame, that's a spark. Okay. And that creates an energetic spark that's real, that really takes place. It's a signal that's sent out and it sends out the frequency at which you operate, at which you vibrate, that creates the experience you need to bring balance to these polarities. So in my case, I have attracted before different teachers and reflections to come in and show me one thing that might be, let's just say, either express or listen. And that being said, somebody would show me like, okay, I need to listen. Somebody would show me like, okay, you need to express, right? And it was the same thing happening when to do it. And like somebody would just show me one thing, somebody would show me another thing. And then I could tell my ability to either like, I don't even call it suppress, but go in and listen or come out and express myself. It would show me which one to do that. And so I learned to be able to really pay attention to what side of me needed what when, because that's where people get confused also, is which side of you needs to take action and which side of you needs the lesson. And that's where confusion comes in, because you're feeling both sides, you're feeling it all, and you can't tell where it's coming from. But if you pay attention, if it's that masculine or feminine side, then you can address on which side it is. And that will help you neutralize your inner energy. That being said, as you do that, then basically over time, you learn to navigate that dance inside of yourself, that your feminine knows when to show up and your masculine knows when to show up. And you can just know when and what and where to be those parts of you, to express those parts of you that want to be expressed on either side. And then when you can do that and you can dance that inner balance from a place of wholeness, completeness, oneness, and all your parts and your aspects and your attributes and your thoughts, feelings, actions all come into alignment in a direction that they're not resisting each other. They're not pulling each other out of alignment. Your higher self isn't like out of alignment with your lower self, because your lower self is no longer resisting the ability to take action based on navigating not seeing something because it's coming from a download of what you know is wisdom versus inside of you that you want to, like your human consciousness wants to take control, take charge, and take action on. And you can just surrender into like, okay, this is bigger than me. This is higher than me. And I can promise you the twin flame journey is much bigger than you are. And, I'm always saying it's like navigating the twin flame journey. I say a couple things, actually. One is it's like playing Chutes and Ladders and Twin Flame Candyland, because it's always this emotional high and low, But this emotional high and low is coming from the balance of these energies I'm talking about. But it's also coming from a place when you're navigating that and it's showing up, that you can just kind of sink into a trust aspect, that you trust the process and you can allow that to navigate that without resisting it. And so where I was going with that is in that high and low, it's also like surfing a wave. So I'm always saying you're trying to find the balance between your resistance and your surrender. And if you're out of balance, then are you resisting something? And if you are, why? And get to the root of underneath why. And the more you learn to yourself, the faster you can navigate your processing, and it speeds up, and then you stop getting stuck And then when you integrate that dance with someone else, you can feel if it flows with them or if it doesn't. And if it's not in synchronistic flow with them, then maybe it's time to step out of the loop. And then therefore, you're not taking on their stuff. Their shift is what I call it. And then you're not trying to, pull them along or them suck you in. And that's what tends to happen. And for people that think, well, I can't move past this because I keep getting tethered back to this person, back to this experience, and back sucked into this whole vortex of that. That is true, but that means somewhere in you is the attachment. So you need to find out where that attachment is, and you need to clear and heal that attachment so you're not attracting that hook that's connecting you energetically to that person that you can cut ties and move on. And I know they say a lot that you can't cut ties with your actual twin flame. And that's true on some level. But the key about it is to know that it's energetically dancing and it's in you. And so you can make that shift inside yourself. And if it's still happening, then some level you're still calling it in. Okay. And that's where you need to look. So again, make sure to check out the links above and below and get signed up for our 5-day Perfect Inner Work Challenge that we're going to teach you not to do so much work so that you can fully come into yourself and that you can fully come into, and I say yourself, the balance of yourself so that you can actually then draw to you that perfect alignment of that perfect twin flame connection, the perfect twin flame that is going to dance with you, that's going to synergistically flow with you, allowing you to experience a harmonious, loving, deep relationship that you really desire. And that is our goal for you. And so we're sending you so much love. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. May you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.